Hello everyone, and welcome back to Apex Acres. I'm Amy, and I just kind of wanted to give you an update on the farm this year for 2020. It's only February, but boy, has it seemed like a pretty long year for us so far. And mainly dealing with loss. We've never really had an animal die on the farm as far as one of our goats. We've had a couple stillborn, but at that point, you know, like I said, the baby was already passed by the time that we found it. We didn't have any actually die from different circumstances, external circumstances outside of the womb. But this year we've had to deal with a lot of loss, I feel. The first one that we lost was a little buckling, and we called him Tiny Tim. He was happy and healthy and a teeny little thing. He was actually stuck inside his mama when she was going to deliver him, so I had to assist in the delivery and help him out, and he came through and did great for about a month. And then for whatever reason, one morning we came out to take care of the goats, and he had just he was just passed. He was just laying in the shelter all by himself. The second issue that we've had was one of our mothers had a first-time mother, Winnie, had given birth to triplets, which was awesome. We knew that she was going to be having babies, but we also knew that it wasn't really an opportune time of year for her to have the babies. But the problem was the day that they were born, they were very listless, weren't standing up and walking like they should. And I realized that they had a selenium deficiency. Now, I had no idea that we'd ever have any issues like that here, because we've always had, for the most part, happy, healthy babies. Like I said, we've had 2 stillborns in the 4 years that we've raised goats and had births on the farm. But this was the first time that we'd actually had babies born sick. So that kind of hit me a little bit. That birth had three kids, like I said, 1 doe and 2 bucklings. And the little doe just didn't come out of it. She didn't even make it 24 hours. So that was the second loss that we had. They all had gotten their Bose injections. It's BOSE injections, and the other 2 had come around and were doing great. And they were 2 little bucklings, and sweet as can be, cute as can be. But then this morning I came out to the pasture, and I only saw one of them following mom. And I knew that was going to be an issue because the one that was more timid was the one following mom, and the one that had more of a personality, more of a gung-ho little buckling, should have been there with him. He wouldn't have been timid and stayed back in the shelter for any reason or lagged behind. So sure enough, I walked into the shelter, and there he was on the floor and had passed. He had gotten squished. Now, I feel really, really bad about that. Last night, the temperatures were down to, I want to say 14 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't uncommon here. It does happen. However, these guys are about 2.5 weeks old. And in my mind last night, I thought, maybe I should go get them and bring them in the house. But they'd been doing really well in the cooler weather. I knew mom would keep them warm. And we also had an igloo set up inside the shelter, like a dog house igloo set up inside the shelter for that didn't have kind of like extra insulation. Well, that was actually the problem. He had gotten either smashed or squished against the igloo wall. Maybe too many of them tried to get in there at one time, I don't know. But when I came out this morning, he was half under the igloo, half inside the igloo. So that was a really big blow to me as well. I feel like this year has just been a lot of loss and having to deal with that. But I also know that there's a lesson in all of this. The lesson is that these are God's creatures, and they are gonna have ups and downs. There's gonna be times where life is lost, and that's part of farming. And just know that you need to learn from your mistakes. I should have known that we were selenium deficient and should have made sure that they had gotten their selenium injections, so that we didn't have the weakness that we did with Winnie's kidding. This little guy, when I had my intuition of bringing the two boys in the house last night, I should have brought them in the house. I shouldn't have thought, oh, they'll just be fine. Also, you know, I should have definitely had the dog igloo in a different place, or, you know, who knows, whatever. Maybe it would have just been that, you know, it's just a freak thing and that's just what happens. But I guess what we need to take away from this is that there's always loss, and we just have to work to do the best that we can with what we have. Winnie's kidding, she actually was a mistake breeding. We didn't want her to be bred to deliver this time of year because it is cold and the weather is harsh. There's a shot that can be given that is called Lutalice, and what that does is cause the doe to go into heat. So if she was bred, she would have lost any embryos that might have started. Now, bear with me, the embryos are very early on. It's done, I want to say, at day 14 of a pregnancy, and goats are pregnant for about 5 months. So it would have been at the very early stages. And basically she would have miscarried and then not had babies at this time of year. Moving forward, like I said, I know we're going to make sure that we are very regimented about making sure that our goats have the minerals that they need, making sure that they get plenty of selenium, plenty of copper, and all the other minerals that they need. We are also going to make sure, now that I know my bucks can't get out of their shelter area, their pen area, we're going to make sure that we have spring and summer babies. Our setup, we don't actually have a barn, we have shelters. So there really isn't any way to have electricity or heat or anything extra out here in the pasture. So like I said, even though it is sad and it is hard that we have lost these animals, it is always a lesson, and it's a lesson in life and taking care of life. This is a great lesson for my kids too, knowing that mom's not perfect, and sometimes mom makes mistakes and things happen, but we have to make sure that we correct those things so that more problems don't happen. So yeah, so we're hoping that the next kiddings that we have, which will be in, I'm pretty sure mid to late April, is when our next two does are due. We won't have nearly the problems that we've had this early 2020 in January and February, and that things just go better for us. So if you've ever had any issues with losing animals on a farm, or have more questions about raising animals or how to deal with loss on a farm, put a comment below.
In the deep blue sea, hold
Thank you all so much for watching today. Hopefully the next video will be a little bit more positive, and we are going to talk about what we're going to be doing this spring as far as the garden goes. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy watching our videos, and as always, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next video.